Hi, Sarah from The Coming.
Oh, great review. These are my boys Tom and Joe. They're just coming along to see what all happens to these things.
Oh, great stuff. So please tell us, what drew you to this particular story? And I've heard you have quite a personal connection with it, but what made you want to make this into a film?
Well, there's two sides to wanting to make this. One was the personal connection. I live in the town, Clevedon. My boys go to the same school as Reef and Finn, the boys from the film. I knew Singe, I knew Kate in the last year of her life. I saw how her list became this news phenomenon in the papers and then became this amazing book. And when Singe came up to me in the playground and said, well, there's film companies, I said, I bet there are with a story like. He said, why don't you do it? I said, do you know what? I'm too close and movies could really mess this up. And I said, what I will do is I'll stand by you and I'll give you almost a set of rules, lines in the sand, conditions, where you can keep certain memories secret, private. You can look at your boys in the eye and say, I did the right thing letting this movie get made. So as he was writing the book with Rachel Murphy, the ghostwriter, I was kind of working on these rules and conditions, and it hit me about half a year in. Actually, these weren't for me to hand to him. These was helping me realise my own rules to telling this story. From a filmmaker, from a storyteller, which is always difficult to talk about because I have to put myself arm's length from this, there's no bigger obstacle. Drama is obstacle. Drama is the obstacles we meet. There's no bigger obstacle than what Kate and Singe had to go through. The journey that they each take defined by her death. And her journey was to arm him. In the last 3 months of her life, this all happened in the last 3 months when he said to her, how am I going to cope with that? It was not a bucket list. It was a list of instructions that she gave him to say, you can do this without me. And it's almost like at a certain point in this list, because it wasn't done in one go, it was done across a period of time, she kind of realised, well, I'm not going to be there. And we all have the privilege of a long life, hopefully. And we can define who we are by the memories of those we live with. She had to suddenly put it down on paper. So she started writing memories and thoughts, and she was almost memorialising herself. When I realised that about her list, when I saw, for me, what that list really meant, and it kind of went there and there, and it was like, that's the story. Singe's book, by its very nature, it tells his side of the story. The film has to follow Kate home. I knew we had to show her, we had to kind of deal with her, and we had to present her story. And in this woman who realises I need to offer myself to my children and give them a memory of me because otherwise it won't exist. Something so profound about that love, to do that, to arm him with permission to move on, to tell him, find yourself another woman to settle down with, the biggest thing that she makes him do. Find yourself another woman to settle down with for stability and female influence in the boys' lives, knowing that if he's going to follow the other list items, he has to follow that. She knows that she's giving him that instruction because she knows how important it is. To look that far ahead to the end of your own life, into moving on. I just thought that's beautiful. Tragic but beautiful.
And in that sense, I suppose not many filmmakers try and tackle the idea of managing grief. You know, it was challenging to try and bring out the realism and the nuance and complexity of that, while also producing something that's compelling and perhaps uplifting and even romantic at times.
It was a massive challenge to try and balance the grief, the sadness with the uplifting, except that's kind of what the story is, and that's what I felt I owed Kate, that she didn't die leaving Singe with instructions to be sad. She died leaving him with permission to get on with life and be the man she fell in love with, which is this vibrant, positive guy. And she knew that when she was not going to be here. So I knew that if I tell her story and show Singe reacting to her love for him, then ultimately it's uplifting. It was a challenge dealing with a lot of the stuff that's grief-stricken. We had to kind of always check ourselves, were we overdoing it? But when you have actors as beautifully nuanced as Millie Fox and Rafe Spall, when you hand those characters over to them and let them embody them and own them, you just come up with subtleties that when you watch, it's a privilege to stand by the camera and watch them perform and see what they brought to. It's an utter privilege.
Did you feel pressure though, trying to make, you say like you were worried about other filmmakers perhaps destroying their story? Did you feel that pressure about being true to the story you saw and doing it justice, I suppose?
I did feel pressure. I felt pressure because I want to look Singe's boys in the eyes and say, I hope you think I did good. I felt pressure in that you have 100 minutes to tell this kind of a story, but I knew that by telescoping it into a particular period of time, diagnosis, through her passing, to him walking out the door on his very first date, by telescoping into that time, you can kind of tell the world of their life in an 18-month period. And the pressure was to do it justice and respect her and honour her and hopefully have an audience come out of this loving Singe, loving Kate and realising just go home and hug your loved ones and make the most.
Fantastic, and it's a brilliant film, so well done. Thank you very much, thanks for your time.